What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. If you don't know who I am, that means you're new. I'm Mark. What's good with y'all? Go check out my other videos. Check them out. Check them out. But first, stay on this one. So, welcome back to another episode of Debunking Anti Gunners. So, this one has been spouted a lot. This one, this one's been around for years. I'm surprised that I haven't even covered this one yet, to be real. So, you read the title, you saw the thumbnail. Let's get right into it. On this episode of Debunking Anti Gunners, to travel with a gun in your car, the magazine and ammo both have to be separate from the gun. So, first off, what? I live in a constitutional carry state. I travel with firearms on my person in my car because I don't need a concealed carry permit to carry them anymore. What do you mean? There is no law. There's no federal law that states that. There may be a state law in some goofy state like California where they already are trying to take away your Second Amendment right. But as far as I know, there is no law saying that whatsoever. It is in no way, shape, or form part of the law. That is not what is a requirement. Now, some people, like let's say you're going to the range, you know what I mean? Would you want to, put like a gun in your bag that has a round in the chamber? And maybe not, you know what I mean? Maybe you would want to unload your gun, but there is no law requiring that the magazine and ammo have to be separate from the firearm. That's just debunking the legality of it. There is no law stating that. So completely wrong, completely untruthful. And even if there is a law stating that, it's in a goofy state like California. I can guarantee it. Now, with that being said and that being put just out of the way, right? That's simply just the legality of it. We're not talking about the actual, common sense, just knowledge of how dumb that is. So that's what we're going to get into next, right? So, we've been seeing a lot of carjackings recently. I don't know why. I've been seeing a lot of videos of people thinking it's like GTA or something and that they can just go up to a car with like a gun or a knife and that someone's just going to get out and, give them their car. But we've been seeing a lot of videos like that recently, or at least I have. So, question. Someone comes up to you to try to, I guess, carjack you, right? How useful is that gun if, the gun is, say, in a locked bag, your ammo is in the back seat, your magazines are in your trunk. What use is the gun then? In what world, in what situation of this world would you ever be able to use your firearm to be able to defend yourself, which is the entire point why a majority of the country owns firearms? You wouldn't. That doesn't make any sense. The entire point of that idea that they're pushing is essentially, oh, well, you just are not going to be able to use it if something's happening. So on top of the fact that they're basically, trying to advocate for not being able to protect yourself in a situation like that, they are also, in a sense, advocating for criminals to have access to guns then. And my logic to where I come to that conclusion is, let's say, you do follow that stupid idea, right? Because once again, it's not a law. It is not a law. Now, let's say you follow that stupid idea, right? You get carjacked. You're not going to be able to defend yourself. We just went over that, right? So your car gets stolen. Now this criminal can literally just find a little alley, pull over, load the gun up, and bam, he's got himself a loaded gun ready to go, all thanks to you, paid by you, everything done because of you. How dumb would you feel? You see what I mean? So essentially, on top of advocating not being able to protect yourself in a situation like that, they're advocating for criminals to be able to get hands on legal citizens' guns. What? And the whole idea is to make things safer? That's the whole idea behind it, is they believe that that's a law put in place to make things safer? One, that's not even a law that's put into place. Let alone the idea that people would think that that is a safer way to have your gun. It makes zero sense whatsoever. It makes no sense to any standard. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry, but when people say stuff like this, it genuinely just feels like they're basically saying you might as well not own it because we're going to sit here and tell you that you're not going to be able to use it. These people who, say that this is a law when in all reality, as I mentioned several times already in the last 5.5 minutes, that it's not a law. All of these people do not know firearm laws. These people simply do not. All of these claims that, are being pushed around this idea that when you travel with a firearm, the magazine and the ammo both have to be in separate places in the firearm is not true to any standard. In no way, shape, or form is it true, nor does it even make sense. But it's funny because half the time they bring it up like it's a stone cold fact. They don't even bother looking into it to see if there's any validity to their statement. And of course, there isn't. This is the biggest issue when it comes to something like this is most people, they take what they believe should be the case for some reason and they try to force it into law. They try to act as if it's law, right? So gosh, I couldn't even imagine the aspect of, oh yeah, well you need to have your magazine and ammo separate from your gun in order to travel with it. Like I bring guns with me when I go places because I want to be able to protect myself outside of my house. The entire point of concealed carrying is so you can protect yourself outside of your home. That's the entire point of it. So it's like I understand we're not talking about just concealed carrying. We are talking about traveling with firearms in your car. However, there is no law in any standard stating that yes, you need to have the magazine and ammo separate from the firearm in order to travel with a firearm in your car. None of that makes sense. None of that would even. How would they even enforce that law? Is my question. They wouldn't be able to enforce that law. And the reason why that is because in order for them to be able to enforce that law, they would have to sit there and pull somebody over, hopefully when they're either, going to or from the range or just traveling with their firearm, you know, they would have to hope that they have a reason to search the vehicle then, because just because you have a firearm on you doesn't mean the police can search your vehicle. Like, I've seen plenty of situations where people have gotten pulled over and, they're like, yeah, I have a firearm on me. And the cops will simply tell them, hey, don't reach for yours. I won't reach for mine. Am I right? And they laugh it off and that's it. You see what I mean? So telling the police that you have a firearm on you and that you are, you're a legal firearm owner, you're legal to carry and everything, none of that gives them probable cause to search your vehicle. So with that being the case, on top of having a reason to pull you over, they would then have to find probable cause to search your vehicle. Then they would have to sit there and, and inspect everything just to find that. That's the only way they'd even be able to enforce such a dumb law. Think about all those extra steps that would have had to be taken prior to that. It's a law that basically could not be enforced without police either getting very lucky or having to reach for something that, it wouldn't make sense for them to have, gotten these people for this charge. That's the issue here. Like when you put the idea to the test, none of it makes sense. But then again, that's something that we see all too much with these anti-gunners is none of the stuff they say will make any form of sense. Why is that? Because it's not meant to. And that's something that I feel I haven't touched on too much with this is that what anti-gunners or the anti-gun lobby likes to do is they're not trying to preach to you guys knowledge or facts or the truth. What they want to do is they want to preach to you essentially terror ideologies. They want to preach scare tactics to you. They want to sit there and confuse and have you frightened. They want you confused and frightened is what they want. Well, some of y'all might be wondering how can I prove this? Well, here's a perfect example, right? The AR-15, they claim, oh, well, it's a military grade weapon. It's not. I mean, it can be used in war, sure, you know what I mean? But it's not a military grade weapon. It's a civilian grade weapon. It's the civilian version of a military grade weapon. You see what I mean? There's the difference. So they're not sitting here trying to preach to you the truth. They're not trying to preach to you knowledge about firearms. Truth be told, they really don't even care about your safety when it comes to firearms. All they care about is taking your Second Amendment right away. And how they're going to do that is to try to confuse and scare you through words that you won't understand, words that you think you understand, but truthfully don't. And simply, honestly, this is the saddest part, using the victims' families of gun violence to try to push their narrative. So I know I don't touch on that too much, but that is something I wanted to bring up in this video, is that the reason why all of the sayings that these anti-gunners push out don't make sense is because they're not supposed to. I believe they're more than well aware that it doesn't make sense. I believe that they simply are just trying to confuse and scare the people so that way that people will be like, yep, just take it, whatever. But that's the thing, is that if you use your brain and you do the research, you can see that even stupid ideas like this one that I've been sitting here talking about in this video, that none of it makes sense. None of it will ever make sense. The idea that you have to sit there and in order to travel with a gun in your car, have your magazines and ammo separate from your gun doesn't make sense. Just like all of the other stuff these anti-gunners say does not make sense. So I know that's something I haven't touched on too much in these videos, but that is something I wanted to make sure to touch on a tiny bit in this video. Now, overall, all right, when it comes to the legality of, this idea that they're saying is a law, it is not a law. And there is no federal law in regards to this, at least. If there is a state or county law, it is in, more likely than not, some goofy state like California. That's the best way to describe it. Let me make sure the microphone. Okay, cool. Recently, I've had a history of my microphones dying on me mid-video, so that'd be upsetting. But the whole point I'm getting at is, in regards to the legality of it, there is no law stating that you have to have the magazines and ammo separate from the firearm. There is no law stating that in any way, shape, or capacity. When it comes to the practicalness of it, it doesn't make any sense. You will not be able to protect yourself in any capacity whatsoever if your magazine and ammo and firearms are all in separate spots of the car. You'll never be able to protect yourself. You're not going to be able to load your magazines up, then load the gun up in time. That's never going to happen. And third, their entire argument gets debunked when it comes to concealed carrying, especially in a constitutional carry state, which over half the country now is. Now, I think that about wraps it up for this video. I don't want to sit here and keep going in circles, but once again, I do want to reiterate that most of the stuff they say will not make sense. It's never going to, because they know it doesn't make sense. They want to confuse and scare the population. Now, with that being said, I think that about wraps it up for this video. Y'all make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, hit that bell. When you hit that bell, hit all. And because you agree with me, it's about one of the dumbest ideas in the world to sit here and say that you must have your gun, your ammo, and your magazine all separate in order to travel with a gun in your car. Make sure to check out all my other videos. Y'all make sure to stay legal, stay safe, stay dangerous. Have a good one, y'all. Peace.